Hey guys, it's Myles. Welcome to the very first episode of Project. I'm your host Myles, and we are going to be running through my personal goals and plans. And before we jump into that, I want to give you all a quick glimpse into something that I wrote this morning that will help set the tone for this episode. So I hope you enjoy. Man is so foolish. With all his desires and the ability to think ahead of time, simple ability to forecast is actually one of our greatest flaws. Man plans and God laughs. So rather than setting a defined, rigid structure that boxes you in, be open to the possibilities of life, while, while simultaneously sticking to your own core daily habits, and let the rest flow as the Creator plans or has it to be. Myles. And that really manifests into how I go about my life because it really had me think about the concept of the habits that we keep in our life. And it's kind of like what you do on a daily basis is what your life ends up being. So, that being said, I want to make sure that I am in control of the things that I find myself doing on a daily basis, and if not in control, at least happy with those things. So, what I did, again, I would have introduced the concept of the buckets of my life. They are at the top, and I've broken it into three different buckets: health and wellness, family and friends, business and education. And for each bucket at the bottom of the chart, I listed out three goals each, three SMART goals. And for those of you who do not know what a SMART goal is, it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time specific. So that is the criteria you want to check off when you say you're going to do something. You don't want to just say the thing. You want to say when, how, why. You want to answer those who, what, when, where, why, how questions. So once you have those things set in place, and again, those can be as simple as just having a certain habit that you have really wanted to have in your life but have found it very hard to develop, or you haven't even had the courage to try to develop it. Think of that inspirational self, or think of your worst self that you know of and you've seen and you've experienced and had to live with, and say, what's the worst part of myself that I'm willing to just cut ties with? And again, just one thing, and work and identify that one thing, quantify it, and from that point, what I've done in the middle, you'll see these pages that I've put up in each bucket. So I sat down and systematically said, okay, for each bucket of my life, I call it a brain dump. What do I need to do? Activities, not goals, but just pure things to do list. And I just let my brain flow onto the paper so that I don't have to remember anything, basically. Whatever I need to do is there, and if it's not there, it's not going to get done. So I need to make sure that I'm scraping my brain once and once only. And I do that for each bucket of my life. And from that point, once I have all those things mapped out, I then have to quantify how long are these things going to take. For each thing, I just roughly estimate. And it's not always going to be that amount of time. So just give it a bit more time than you think, maybe 15 minutes more, and estimate how much time it's going to take. And then the last thing you do is assess the priority of each thing to say, when does this have a deadline? Is this more important to me than this? And on that basis, you do the higher priority things in the times that you want, or the times that you are certain that those things will get done, because they are of the highest priority. So what that looks like to me is this very simple weekly planner schedule. And between these green rows on top is a very solid morning schedule. And as some of you would know, I'm trying to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. It hasn't always been successful, but by putting these high priority items in the morning, but not overwhelming myself, very simple health and wellness related, and just focusing on me, very simple. I mean, if we want, we can go in, 5 a.m., stretch, breathe through my nose, reflect, plan, read what's going on in the outside world, observe, put myself out there. And then there's a 90-minute segment of each morning that I get to work on my own business. So that is really motivating for me to wake up early enough to focus on my own business before I have to clock in for my job and start to work on someone else's business. And I would very much encourage everyone to adopt this ownership mindset, because that's what really differentiates, let's call them business owners, even though that's not the term that will encapture everyone that takes responsibility and ownership in their life. But whatever someone does, that is to me their business. So if you are a business owner, you take responsibility for the unconditional things that you will have to do or that have done, or the things that come up. It's all tying back to you. So so that being said, once I work on my business, work for someone else's business, get paid for it, that is also another thing I'd recommend if you're trying to start a business. Don't think that you'll be able to employ yourself off the bat. I think it was Damon John said, he worked at Red Lobster. He's the creator of FUBU, and he's on Shark Tank now. But he worked at Red Lobster while starting off, because that cash flow will keep you alive. It will keep the lights on. It will keep you in a space to live. So don't be ignorant and think if you're trying to start a business, you have to throw yourself right into it. You will be able to assess when the business can afford to employ you full time. So lastly, I'm now in summer school, and that is just going to be taking the end of each day, doing my schoolwork, and at the very end of each day, taking time to, just check out, listen to music, play some music, write, read, do anything I want, really, and just enjoy myself and reward myself for sticking to my schedule for the day. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys have as those one or two things that you either want to chop out or add on to your life. And if not telling me, then tell someone else. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the aspect of just staying accountable to that thing, make sure you're telling the right person. You don't want to tell the wrong people, because they will be those devils on your shoulder telling you all the reasons why you can't do it. So that kind of ties into the family and friends bit, is that even before family and friends, you need to make sure you're healthy, mentally, physically. From there, make sure you have a core group of family and friends around you to support anything that you think you're capable of doing. And then thirdly, the business and education are those things. It's the inspirational you. What is my business out in the world? And if I'm not doing that business right now, how do I get there? And maybe map out someone that's doing it right now and ask them. That is why I love watching interviews, and I love talking to people and asking questions and listening, because you learn a lot from other people's experience. So chances are, if there's something you want to do, someone has already done it. The chances are like 99.9%. So find that person, ask them a question. Chances are they'll be more than willing to give you more than enough details to set you up to get started on that thing. So I'll leave you with this. Be careful what you wish for. Do not set a goal based on what other people are doing in life. Always be true to yourself, because the last thing you want to do is find yourself getting up and dealing with shit for something that you just do not care about, because then you will be unhappy and none of your buckets will be fulfilling your life, and you'll need to start from scratch. So that's why we started today, just by identifying how do we get to that point of really staying true to ourselves. So just take some time. I think I'll leave you with this. Robin Sharma said, writing is meditation. And I, again, have a lot of books with a lot of my writing in it. So I would urge you to just put your thoughts to paper. Peace.